Okay. There we go. I did it.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. All right. I was echoing. Hi. Thanks for being here. There's a couple of you. Yes, Andrew, I do have a couple of new sponsors and a couple of the same ones that I had before. So the biggest one, obviously, is Liv. I'm going to be riding their bikes this year, Liv Cycling, and I'm really excited about that. I got this one a couple weeks ago to test ride, and I think I've only ridden it outside maybe 2 or 3 times because of the weather and the rain, but so far I've been having a blast. I've been really enjoying my new bike, and I haven't found a name for it yet, but it will come. Did anyone have any specific questions? Or Andrew, did you have a specific question about the bike that you wanted to hear? But in the meantime, I guess I'll just sort of talk. Oh, my dog wants to go out. So yeah, so I'm really excited about Do Better Together. It's the biggest thing that I've been working on. How do I like the new Liv bike with SRAM? Well, I've been riding SRAM ETAP for about a year now. I think I got ETAP, about a year and a half, 2 years. And I love it. Love it. It's pretty fantastic. This bike actually doesn't have the blips on it. So the blips, the SRAM ETAP blips, are these buttons that you can put on your top tubes, or some people put them in their drops, so you can shift really easily while sprinting or shift while climbing. This is how I shift. But this bike doesn't have blips on it, so I might see if I can make that happen, because I guess I'm spoiled in that I'm so used to having climbing blips. And I've also thought about the possibility of having sprinting blips. But I really like it. It's a smooth ride. I feel like this bike flies, and so I'm really stoked to race on it. This is their more like road racing bike. They have I believe it's the Envy, which is like more aero and aggressive, which would probably be more favorable for crit racing specifically. But I'm starting here, trying this out, seeing how I like it, and going from there. But yeah, I'm super stoked on this Liv bike, and always stoked on SRAM components. They've been really good to me. This is the Langma Advanced SL0. And I don't know how much it weighs. I have not weighed this bike, but I don't have a bike scale here at home, but I do have a buddy that I'm going to see in a couple weeks that does have a bike scale. And so maybe I'll weigh it. I've never weighed any of my bikes. That's never really been something that I thought about, but it might be kind of fun to know the answer to that question. That's a good one. Yeah. Whew. So I was talking about Do Better Together. It starts on Monday, and it feels like it sort of snuck up on me. While I'm talking, you guys can keep asking questions, and I'll jump out of whatever I'm talking about to answer them. But just to kill the dead air in between, I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. So it's the virtual ride series that I've been hosting for the past 3 years. And this year, Liv and Giant are offering up 2 bikes. So usually I give away 1 bike as a grand prize, but I get to give away 2 bikes this year. I'm really stoked on that. So if you haven't registered, time to do it. There is another female Liv rider on the Liv Bikes website. Yes. And her name is Samantha Scipio, and she is amazing. She mostly focuses on endurance mountain bikes racing, like those like cross, like super long touring type races. Last year she attempted the Tour Divide, which is basically a race from Canada down to Mexico. So like super long distance endurance racing is what Sam does. And she's also a Liv athlete. And she's a Liv athlete before me. And so I'm really excited. She's one of my very, very good friends. And I'm super stoked to do a lot of really cool stuff with her. So it's pretty cool to see a company have more than one brown face on bikes at the same time, I think. I'm really stoked on being able to do more with that partnership. especially since Sam and I are such good friends. We've got lots of ideas, and I think it's going to be really fun to see what we end up doing together this year. Okay, she did the tour of North Georgia. Sam did, yeah, and she did a really cool blog post about it. That's on the Liv website, so I suggest you read it. It's really good. I enjoyed it. Let's see. Do I have to enter all 3 Do Better Together rides to be eligible for the giant bike? Yes. In order to be eligible for the bike, you have to do all 3 months. In order to win the SRAM group set, you have to register for at least 1 month, but participate in at least 3 Zwift rides. So I know that's a little complicated, so I'll say it one more time. So in order to win a bike, to be eligible to win a bike, you have to register for all 3 months. And in order to be eligible to win the SRAM group set of your choice, you get to pick. So if you want a mountain bike group set, which is like their Eagle stuff's really cool. If you want ETAB or you want Force, whatever you're into, whatever kind of bike you have that would be made better with SRAM components, you get to choose what group set you want. And in order to do that, you need to register for at least 1 month, but participate in at least 3 of the Zwift rides. And all of the rides will be listed on the Zwift website and also on my schedule at aquickbrownfox.com. And I'll put them on the Do Better Together stuff as well. Does riding on an exercise bike at gym count, or are they not Zwift compatible? So I don't know that you can do an exercise bike for Zwift. You can do that for the Do Better Together ride series. However you ride, it works. But in order to do Zwift, I don't think you can do it at a gym. I think you have to use like a dongle and have like a little setup at home. There is actually a how to get started on Zwift video that I put up on the dobetterride.com. There's I think it's called Tools and Tips or something like that. There's a link that will help you with getting set up on Strava, getting help set up on Zwift, and a couple of other things that might be really useful if you were considering doing the ride series. But yeah, in order to do the SRAM group set, you have to do the Zwift rides. But Zwift's not Zwift, but SRAM's also offering some other goodies. They always give a nice little goodie bag for each month. So it's a cool incentive to do the monthly rides as well. But yeah. Okay, last question is relevant, then thanks. Sorry. Zwift will require me to get my trainer and bring my bike inside, and convincing my wife will be no fun. Oh, okay. Well, that is a barrier, but maybe you can talk her into it. I'm always convinced by the idea of winning free things. So if you can convince her that maybe it's a way for you to get really awesome stuff for your bike without having to pay full price for it, maybe she'll be more amicable about it. I don't know. But good luck with that. I really hope that works out, because I'd love to see you on Zwift at one of the Do Better Together rides. Cool. Yeah, what else are we doing? So on the first Zwift ride is next week. So it's going to be Monday through Sunday. So the 7th through the 13th. On Tuesday and Thursday, we're doing Zwift rides. On Wednesday, we're actually doing a Q&A with Amber Pierce, which is going to be really cool. So you can talk to a real pro rider and ask some questions about bikes and bike racing. She's a pretty phenomenal mentor. She's helped me a lot along in my journey. Whenever I have questions that I don't know the answers to, I give Amber a call. So I'm really glad that she has offered to pass along some wisdom to y'all. She runs the Network for Advancing Athletes, and apparently I was the first person to sign up for that. And I have had a mentor for 3 years now, and it's been super helpful in staying steady and consistent, because this journey is lonely and it's hard, and there's a lot of really confusing things about it. But even if you're not trying to go pro, there's a lot of stuff about bikes and bike racing that it's really nice to have a really cool resource to ask those kinds of questions. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. And so that will be next Wednesday at 7 p.m. and that will be a YouTube live thing as well. So we have the 2 Zwift rides. Hey, Jason, I was just talking about you. We got to weigh my bike when I come up and visit. Someone asked how much it weighed, and I have no idea. I don't know you have a bike scale. Will you be racing in the Northeast at all this year? Don't know. I know I won't make it to Harlem as long as North Star happens. Last year they canceled it, and I made my way to Harlem, and that was so fun. But I really enjoy the North Star Grand Prix. It's a nice stage race, and so I want to participate in that and see if I can do a little better than last time. Last time I did it, I got lost in Minnesota, and there's a blog post about it that I wrote, which I made some friends. There was a nice farmer who helped me find my way. He let me use his phone, and we used some maps because I wanted to finish. And so somebody else came along and stopped their truck and helped me figure out the map, and we found the route. So hopefully that won't happen again. I'm planning on, sticking with the group better and finishing that race. But I really enjoyed the North Star Grand Prix. Everybody there was really great. The organizers were super supportive, and that's a race that I would love to support this year. As much as I love Harlem, it's a one-day crit, and it doesn't fully align with my long-term goals. But I will be back at some point, I'm sure, because it's definitely my favorite race. And so it's super disappointing to me that they both happen at the same time on Father's Day. And I've always had to, the past couple of years, I've had to make this choice. But last year it was much easier because North Star didn't happen. So as far as the Northeast, I don't know. Right now, there's nothing really Northeast on my schedule. We'll see. I think the closest to the Northeast I'm planning on getting right now is Detroit, but that's not even 100%. So we'll see how that goes. But I will be putting all of my races as I confirm them on the schedule at aquickbrownfox.com. I know people in the past have complained that I kind of just show up places and don't say I'm coming ahead of time. And so I'm trying to be better about that. So I've already put some stuff up on the schedule, and I will continue to do that as things are confirmed. So if you wanted to come hang out or support or cheer, or if it's an opportunity that you can ride with me, I would love to see you there. So yes, shout outs to inspiring other riders with brown faces. Looking forward to you having a great season. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really stoked on how much people have been so receptive to what I'm trying to do. And it's really all of you that have been so supportive that have helped make this journey more doable. I mean, sometimes it gets really, really hard. And so it's really nice to know that I have people that I'm doing this for, that it's actually impacting. So I appreciate those kind words so much. Yeah, I think you were awesome to see at Harlem. My wife and daughters remember you. Oh, sweet. Yeah. So maybe you can be like, remember that girl that was racing? This is how I can support her. Let me bring the bike in the house. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas here. I think it might work. But maybe you could talk her into Zwift that way. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get you there. Yeah. What else? So to get the bike, you have to do all 3 months. In order to do the swim group set, you have to do 3 Zwift rides. There are 6. They're going to be 2 per challenge week. So there's lots of opportunity. I know that I made 1 per week around 2-ish time, and then 1 per week around the 6-ish time, because this ride is also open to people in London. And so I wanted to make it so that they could have an evening ride, and then people in the States could have an evening ride as well. So there are some other new sponsors. Yes. So I think, let me think. So I'm now working with Cliff Bar, which is really cool. I'm an ambassador for them. I'm working with 100%, who makes bike glasses, racing glasses. I'm working on getting some prescriptions for those. I still need to get some contacts. I haven't worn contacts in a while, but I'm gonna handle that so I can wear those while I race. And who else is new? I started working with Feedback Sports towards the end of last year, and I've done some pretty cool unboxings of some of the stuff that they sent me. They hooked me up with a bike stand and some trainers and rollers, and that stuff's been really, really cool this winter so far. And so I'm really stoked on that new partnership. They've been really awesome. I'm also working with, trying to remember off the top of my head. I think that's everybody that's new. So it's just Liv Cycling, Cliff, Feedback Sports that's new. And I think everybody else I've been working with already. So that's pretty neat. 100% makes prescription racing glasses. So 100% does not make prescription racing glasses, but there are certain glasses that you can buy from them, or you can buy them through, what's it called? Sport RX, like sport prescription, sportrx.com, I think it is. And they can make prescriptions for certain 100% glasses. Puppers, it's okay. Did you race with Mariana Voss one time? I raced with Mariana Voss at least twice, maybe 3 times. And it was really cool every single time I was in the race, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm racing with Mariana Voss, which I never thought I would do. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I did that. Thank you for reminding me. I did that. I'm proud of it. I got to race with her. I got to race with Annemiek van Vleuten. I got to race with Chantal Bloch and a couple other really amazing World Tour racers. And it was an amazing experience just following them and like just seeing how they race. And I picked up a couple things. And it was really cool. Yeah. Whew. So as far as my first race of the season, I'm going to be heading to Valley of the Sun in February, and that's in Phoenix. So I got to figure out all of that. I think I have a place to stay, but I've, always looking for cool places. I think I found a really cool bike shop that I want to visit while I'm there. And if you guys know any people in the area, let me know and we can connect. As far as the first event after Do Better Together, I think it's next Friday, I will be in Delaware at St. Andrew's School, and I'm going to do a keynote there and some workshops with some of their students. So I'm really stoked on that. It'll be my first speaking engagement of the year. And I think it'll be really, really cool. It's nice to have a direct line to the Utes and to talk to them and see where their head is at. And I feel like whenever I do these types of engagements, it's a reciprocal thing where I talk to them and I learn from them. And obviously they learn from me, and everybody kind of grows together in that. But I have a lot of things that I'd like to share with them, and I'm pretty sure that I'll learn some stuff from them as well. That'll be really cool. So I'm pretty stoked on that. Yeah. Man, Andrew, you're crushing it with these questions. Thank you. What else? So we talked about the sponsors. We talked about Do Better Together. Mentioned Valley of the Sun. I think after Valley of the Sun, the next race will be Tour of the Southern Highlands, which is actually right around the corner from here in like the Woodstock, Georgia area. So I'm really stoked to be able to race so close to where I live, because most of my racing this year will be far, far away. And it's nice to like race and then sleep in my own bed. It's not something that I get to do very often. So pretty excited about that. And I've been training with Carmichael Training Systems coach Jim Lehman, and that's been going really, really well. I was struggling with nutrition stuff, and they connected me to a dietitian, and we did an analysis of all the things that I was eating and figured out that I needed to eat differently. And I've been doing that, and it's been helping tremendously. So I cannot recommend that enough. Oh, yes. Stand by Carmichael Training Systems. I've been working with them since June, and it's been awesome. I've seen a lot of growth in my confidence on the bike and racing, and a lot of just even training. Like I feel like I'm better at training, which is something I guess not a lot of people talk about, but it's working out really well for me. So I'm really stoked to see how those gains translate in actual races this year. What are your nutrition struggles and what changes have you made? Okay, so apparently I wasn't eating enough carbohydrates. Like my protein was pretty good. I was eating a little bit too much fat, but I was not eating nearly enough calories and not nearly enough carbohydrates specifically. And so they gave me a lot of suggestions, like eating more brown rices and breads and pastas. Obvious things, of course, but I think with like nutrition stuff, it's really hard to know what the right balance is for you as an individual. So it was really nice to have access to a dietitian to help me figure that out. Like figure out specifically which macros, meaning fat, protein, carbohydrates, that I needed to be consuming and how much of them I needed to be consuming. And so I think we did this analysis maybe a month ago now, maybe a little less. And so far it's made a huge difference because I was having trouble just getting through a workout. Like things felt really, really hard and it didn't make any sense. And the answer was just that I wasn't eating enough. And I think part of me was like upset with myself for being a bike racer for a couple years now and still not getting it right. And I was really candid with my coach about it. I said, "Hey, Jim, I am just tired all the time. I don't know what's going on. I think it's my nutrition thing." And so he set this nutrition analysis up with the dietitian through Carmichael Training Systems. And we figured it out. And so, not enough calories, not enough carbs. And so we talked about specifically, like, because I have a generally very small appetite. Like, if you either grew up with me or part of my family, it's common knowledge that on my own, I eat like a bird. And it's not because I'm like being conservative in my meals. I don't get that hungry. I just never have gotten that hungry. So we talked about how I could work on expanding my, guys, leave him alone emoji. Emoji is bothering my cat. My dog's bothering my cat. Yes, we talked about how to expand my diet or my appetite. And so the idea is that I just force myself to eat just a little bit more for over a certain period of time. And that will train my body to take in more food. And then I keep doing that until I get to the numbers that are comfortable, and my metabolism will catch up to that. So this may be a question you already answered, but is it just one ride per week /session? I'm assuming that you're talking about Do Better Together. Aaron, I'm answering your question. And the answer is, so the way Do Better Together works is when you sign up, you set a goal for yourself. So for some people, that's a mileage goal. Say, I want to ride 30 miles during the week, or I want to ride 100 miles or 200 miles, whatever. You can do that however you want. If you want to go out and do 100 miles in one day, ride a whole century, that's your business. You can do it that way. If you want to break it up, do 5 25-mile rides, that's your business as well. You can get to that goal however you want to. The idea is that you set the goal you want to achieve, and then you get there however you want to. Now, indoor rides count, outdoor rides count, riding at the gym counts. However you want to get those miles done, that's up to you. You just track that with Strava. And if you don't have a bike computer or you're using like a bike at the gym, then you can input things into Strava manually. They do allow you to do that. But I think that should answer your question. Please let me know if it did not. But the idea is that you can achieve your goal however you want. Some people don't use mileage goals. Some people say, I just want to ride my bike 5 times or 2 times because they live in a cold place where it's really hard to get motivated to go outside and ride. But your goal is whatever you want it to be. So my goal is not your goal is not my goal, but all those goals are important. And it's really cool that we can support each other trying to achieve whatever it is we want. I wonder if they have any advice on how to trigger your hunger hormone score. She talked to me a little bit about expanding my appetite. So I'm starting there, and the little, the small changes that I've made so far have made a huge impact. I've been doing much better with my workouts. I'm not nearly as tired as I was. And so I'm really glad that I took the time to, finally figure out what was going on there. So I'm pretty pleased with the results of that interaction. So I think we're hanging around here for about 4 more minutes. We're going to keep this to a half hour. So if you have any additional questions, now is the time to ask them. Yes. A lot of people have been asking me about this bar tape because it's really, really cool. It's like this purple to red gradient, and it's what came with the bike. So I just got lucky, I guess. It's really nice bar tape. Do Better Together is $30 per session. So it's $30 for each of the weeks individually, or $80 if you buy them all at once. And that gives you the entry and eligibility for the monthly raffles and all the other things. So yeah, but the registration explains better what all happens with Do Better Together. Does the Bib email and Strava group invite go out a couple of days before the 7th? Yeah, so the Bibs and the Strava invites are going to go out this weekend. So you'll probably get it tomorrow or Saturday if you've registered already. And if you haven't registered, they will come in pretty much within 24 hours after you sign up. So if you don't register by Saturday, when I've sent the Bibs out, they'll come to you within 24 hours of your registration. And I'm leaving registration open through all 3 months because I know some people will discover the series later on and want to be eligible to win the bike. So you'll still have to sign up for all 3 months, even if you can't fully participate in them, but that's how it goes. Have you noticed the pro women's racing scene improving around you during your process, becoming more accommodating? So there's been, do you mean like culturally? Like what specifically is your question, Mr. Marshall? I'm going to answer what I think your question is while I wait for that delay to relay my question. Oh, yes, culturally. Okay. So I think people are noticing it more. I feel like people are talking more about trying to figure out ways to be more accommodating, more inclusive, more encouraging, which is not something that was really the case that I saw. There still aren't a lot of, pro women of color on the racing scene. So I can't vouch for if people are more accommodating in general. But as for just my personal experience, I've had interactions with some of the women on the start line, even where they're like, I read this article you wrote, or I saw something that you're doing and I thought it was really cool and I learned something, or I'll get these messages where it's like, oh, I had this opportunity to speak up when this or this happened, where they were having an interaction where something pretty much racist was happening and they were able to intervene and like speak up about it. So I feel like people are feeling more empowered to make a safe space, I guess, or to encourage people to be more considerate of how they're moving through the world and how they're creating spaces for people to come into. Because if you have these like closed door communities where racism is happening or people are being excluded and nobody's saying anything because everyone's living in a bubble, then when it comes time and somebody wanders into that space who's a person of color, they're going to notice it and they're going to wander right back on out of that space. So it's really nice to hear that, those spaces that aren't that don't have people speaking up or haven't had people speaking up in the past have that now, because people are feeling more encouraged and more empowered to speak that truth. So I think that answers your question. So yeah, we are now at 9 p.m. I know some people want to go watch that Surviving R. Kelly documentary. I'll probably catch it on the flip side. I don't know if I have the brain power for it right now, but I think it's going to be something that's really important to see at some point. Let's see. The drop of your top tube on the bike looks pretty steep. Yeah, actually, I usually prefer more narrow bars, and so I'm experimenting with these and seeing how they feel. And if I'm not super into it, then I'm probably going to end up changing them out. But I have, I don't know. I just like narrow. I like shallower bars usually, but I did notice that as well. Does cycling as an industry see diversity as better or worse for the economics of cycling? I don't think that the industry is fully realizing the cultural impact or the impact cultural diversity can have on the economics of cycling yet. They have not gotten that yet, which is really unfortunate and something that I'm constantly working on. But when they get it and when it clicks, it's going to be really good for everybody. All right, so that will do it for this live chat. Thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate you spending your time with me this evening. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to this YouTube channel. I think there's a little guy in the corner over there, a little fox you can click on to subscribe if you haven't. And you can follow me at I Suppose on all the things, and follow me on Strava, follow me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and I'm super active everywhere. And be sure to register for Do Better Together and join me for those Zwift rides. And by the way, you can do the Zwift rides and come to all the chats and all that stuff, and you don't have to sign up for Do Better Together. Never shell out $1. You don't have to do that. And I will love to see you there either way. But Do Better Together does help me to fund my racing season. And so I would appreciate that support if you don't mind. But again, thanks so much. Subscribe, follow, all the things, and I will see you guys next week at Do Better Together, hopefully. Bye.